All right, we're going to look at dividing terms. We looked at multiplying terms previously. Now, you're going to get division questions, and we're going to write them as fractions. And the reason we're going to do that is because we want to identify which part of the term is the numerator and which part is the denominator. Okay, so just watch me on the first one, and then you'll do the second one. Okay, so I've written it as a fraction first. That's your first step in your working out. Now, 12 divided by 3 is 4, and k just stays there, so you've got 4k. And another way of thinking about that to get to 4 is you can think of what goes into 12 and what goes into 3. So you can think of this as simplifying a fraction. Well, 3 divides into 3 once and into 12 4 times. So then I could write this as 4k over 1, which is just equal to 4k. Okay. All right, so I'd like you to try this question and the hashtag question. All right, so firstly, write it as a fraction, so 20m over 2. Now, 20 divided by 2 is 10, and then m stays there, so the answer is 10m. Or, again, we could think of it as simplifying a fraction. So what goes into 2 and 20? Well, 2 goes into 2 and 2 goes into 20. 2 goes into 2 once and goes into 20 10 times. So the answer is 10m divided by 1. And anything divided by 1 is just itself. So the answer is 10m. Okay. All right, let's try question 3. So copy that down, and then I want you to try to watch me do question 3 here. And then you'll do question 4. Okay, so just watch me. So write it as a fraction first. Now, we've got to simplify this. Now, 15 divided by 25, it does not equal a whole number. So we've got to simplify this as a fraction. So we've got to think of what goes into 15 and what goes into 25. All right, well, 5 goes in there. 5 goes into 15 3 times. And 5 goes into 25 5 times. So my answer is 3h I got the 3 and the h is still there, of course, over 5. Okay, so just going over that once again. First you write it as a fraction. Then you simplify 15 over 25. That simplifies to 3 over 5. And then your answer is the 3h in the numerator and the 5 is in the denominator. Okay, so you're going to try question 4 now by yourself. Okay, so we're going to write that as a fraction. And then think of a number which goes into 6 and 9. Right, well, 3 goes in there. 3 goes into 6 twice. 3 goes into 9 3 times. So that means our answer is 2h over 3. All right, copy that down. All right, now we're going to have question 5. All right, so again, for question 5, we're going to start off with writing this as a fraction. 20 over 5k. Now you've got to be careful here because the pronumeral is in the denominator. Now, what simplifies? Okay, now, so now 20 over 5. Now, what goes into 20 and what goes into 5? Well, 5 goes into 5 and 5 goes into 20. So 5 goes into 5 once and 5 goes into 20 4 times. Right, now, that is 4 in the numerator and 1k in the denominator. Now, 1k is just the same as k, so the simplest way I can write my answer is 4 over k. Right? Now, in this particular case, we do get a whole number with a division. So another way you can think about this is 20 divided by 5 is 4. Now, be careful. If the pronumeral, which is the k, if that's in the denominator, it has to stay in the denominator. You cannot do this, okay, because it's not the same. Because that's 4 times k, this is 4 divided by k. So be careful. If your pronumeral is in the denominator, it has to stay in the denominator. All right. Now have a go at question 6. All right. So 12 over 6m is our first step. And then we've got to think of what goes into 6 and what goes into 12. 6 goes into 6 once and twice. Okay, now 2 is in my numerator, and then 1m is in my denominator. Right? But we know that 1m is the same as m, so my simplest answer is 2 over m. All right, and again, you could think of this as a division with a whole number. 12 divided by 6 is 2. The pronumeral is in the denominator, so you have to keep it in the denominator. That's another way of doing this particular question. All right, make sure that's copied down. Now, question 7. I'm going to do this one, and you do the next one. So watch me. Okay, now, we've written it as a fraction. What goes into 15 and what goes into 25? 5 goes into 15 3 times, and 5 goes into 25 5 times. So my final answer is 3 in the numerator, 5h in the denominator. Right? So you'll notice that you can't do 15 divided by 25 to get a whole number because it's not a whole number. So you've got to simplify it as a fraction. All right. So now I want you to do this one by yourself, see how you go. Okay, so 6 over 9h, write it as a fraction. Right? Now, think, what goes into 6 and what goes into 9? Well, 3 goes into 6 and 3 goes into 9, so 3. So 3 goes into 6 twice, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. So my answer is 2 in the numerator and 3h in the denominator. Okay? All right. Now, next question. I'll do this one and then you can do the next one. This time it has a fraction already, so nothing to do there. Notice I've got a negative number here. So I've got to look at the 4 and the 6 there. So let me just write it out again so it's a bit bigger. And so I can draw on top of it. Now, what goes into 4 and 6? 2. So 2 goes into 4 twice, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. So that means my answer will obviously have a negative in it because of the negative sign. So I'm going to have minus 2 in the numerator with the m squared. Okay, the m squared stays in the numerator, and then 3 in the denominator. Okay, now that minus sign can go any way you like, really. you could put it in line with a fraction bar, like this. Some of the textbooks do it like that. Okay, so that's still correct. All right, now I want you to try question 10 by yourself, see how you go. All right, so let's write out the question. Now, I've got to think what goes into 15 and what goes into 6. Well, 3 goes in there, doesn't it? 3 goes into 15 5 times, and 3 goes into 6 2 times. All right, now I've got minus 5 then, with the k in the numerator, and then minus 2 with x in the denominator. Now, 2 minuses are a positive, aren't they? So my final answer is 5k over 2x. Okay, so that's our first lesson on division.